Welcome to Rhythm of Love, the podcast. I'm Clarence.
And I'm Yolanda. We celebrated our 25th wedding anniversary by writing a book together about what it took to get us here.
And in this podcast, we go deeper and break down what we learned along the way. We hope you enjoy and engage.
Comment, share, and subscribe. We'd love to hear what you have to say about what it takes to make relationships last.
Yes, we will.
Okay.
Cool. All right. After a little bit of a hiatus,
welcome to the next episode of Rhythm of Love, the podcast. I'm Yolanda.
and I'm Clarence.
And we are telling you, like a TII is, from our perspective
Yes.
here on this podcast.
Very Gen X.
Yeah,
We're Gen X, right?
we are Gen X.
Yes.
We are one of the hated generations.
Oh, we're a hated generation. I wasn't aware of that.
Yes, we're just under boomer. You know, we're the generation who we're still beating our kids. We're the generation
They
who
need it.
said because I said so
Because I did.
and didn't lay out the reasons why. We're the generation who gets, we're barely off of kids should be seen and not heard type of thing. That's why we're
It can be heard. They can even be seen. They don't have to be listened to. I mean, it's just so. Let me be a little clearer. Let me be a little clearer about that thing in
Okay.
particular. Okay, because it's an interesting concept. There is a proverb. I heard it contributed to an African proverb. I heard it contribute to an Arabic proverb.
Okay.
It goes something like this.
okay.
It goes something like this. It goes, tough times
Yes. Make
make hard,
hard
make
people.
make strong men.
Okay.
That's what it says.
Strong.
It says men, but we'll say people to say
Okay.
make strong people.
Strong people.
Are you going to say this? Why not you say?
You say it. You say it. You're
I mean, you seem like you get it. I'm not.
strong people. What do strong people do? I'm just leading you to the next line.
Thank you. Thank you. Strong people make tough times easier.
Okay.
Easier times make weak people,
Mm-hmm.
and weak people make hard times.
Okay.
So it's kind of this
It's a
cycle
back
of things.
So I think that if people are talking about parenting, because we started with, I don't think the recommendation is that you make soft times for your kids. Not soft in the sense of there are no rules, kind of we're going with whatever you feel, whatever you want. I still think that, proponents of gentle parenting and all the different names they have for it, or more gentle parenting than what Gen X is accused of,
Okay.
is still having rules, still having consequences to actions, but it's not, the harshness of, I told you to wash these dishes. Now I'm going to wake you up at 3:00 in the morning and make you wash the dishes.
So here's my response to that.
Knowing that you have to get up and go to school in 3 hours.
Your tempered generation X is what you're describing. A tempered generation X. And there are people who are probably within our generation who behave that way. Those are not the people we're talking about. We're talking about the people after that, the millennials and the Gen Zers, who don't want to do any of those types of things. They don't want to. The kids don't even have to wash the dishes.
Well, see,
I'll wash the dishes. Don't worry about it.
I mean, I think there is a spectrum, but the people I'm talking about who are millennials and Gen Z, older Gen Z, like who are adults now, that I would listen to are the ones who are saying, yes, have consequences. Just don't be a bitch to your kids.
But they are using as their point of reference what happened to them. And every generation does. You know, we are more hurriers.
Felt like they were giving us more opportunity to be heard and to have a fun childhood.
So you talking about
their
the
parents.
boomers. The boomers are coming out of World War II
Mm-hmm.
and the Great Depression.
Mhm.
I'm not sure the times are any harder. They're coming out of pretty hard times.
Okay.
And as we're sliding into us, they have made those tough times a little easier. And
Right. We haven't had a Great Depression.
we haven't had a Great Depression. And
And we haven't had a World War
we are making the tough times
that we
had even easier. You know, I think about the fact that when I was 6 years, and we talk about the world being different, but that's an entirely different conversation. We could talk about how much we walked to school. We went by where you grew up, and you talked about how you and your sister walked all the way down to the store,
Yeah.
and she was no more than 4 or 5 years old.
Yeah.
And you're only 4 or 5 years older than her. So you were like 9.
Yeah.
And y'all walking a long way down to get the
Down
the dry cleaners for your mother.
Oh, yeah. And having the difficulties that kids would have.
And Nathan never walked to school a day in his life. Nathan is outside. He never walked to school a day. He could have walked from Miss Smith's. That was equivalent if he had left Miss Smith's and went to school. Oh, he didn't have daycare.
Miss
there.
Smith was
Yeah, it was school. Okay.
Yes.
So my point is, you know, we can say his situation
It was a little different because he was always out.
School was a little bit farther away.
School was a lot farther away. from
Right.
him.
But he could have gone his whole life without ever riding a bus. I'm not even talking a school bus. I'm talking a metro bus.
I know what you're talking about. And we made sure that
He tried
did
to
that.
put some of those things on him to
Yes.
try to so he could learn and how.
And I don't think anybody would accuse us of being the Gen X parent that they are. In some areas.
In some
Yes,
areas.
In some areas. But I think we always try to be, I think, first of all, what Gen X is, as one of the things they're accused of is, you know, acting out of anger and acting out of the parents' feelings as opposed to being intentional. And I think what we tried to do was be intentional.
And I think that yes.
I mean,
But I don't think
I'm not on either side here. I'm not arguing for either side. You were saying that easy times make for soft people, and I don't think that the real people who kind of studied this gentle parenting, who wrote the book on gentle parenting and that kind of thing, are trying to say make it easier for your child, in that they don't have responsibilities and they don't because you what we were. Oh,
go ahead.
I mean,
Go ahead.
I won't even go to my next point. I'll just make that point and say that there's a difference between being like a parent who just acts out of anger, speaks out of anger to the child when they do something wrong, or, you know, you're cooking with them in the kitchen and they drop an egg and you curse at them, or you The kids drop eggs.
But that's to me, that has nothing to do with the generation that you grew up in. That is just an attribute of the parent.
The going word is that Gen X and older were those type of parents. So who called you out of your name, you know,
But
called you stupid
again,
when you did a kid thing.
tougher times, and again, like you're not saying, but you are saying, because those people who wrote these things are not, you know, they're writing those things out of the experiences of their lives that they don't want to replicate, that they don't want someone else to have. But I can tell you what our kids or what we weren't doing, which is, killing each other in the street like they're killing each other in the street now. Not until the 80s crack thing came out, then it got to be out of control. But that's a different animal. And I don't even know where crack went and why it's not still in the streets. But that's a different story. I don't know what happened to that.
I think there's still people using crack.
But it was not. It was uncontrollable in the 80s.
Right. I mean, people learn and figure out. They look at how their mom was strung out on crack, and they don't want to be strung out on crack, so they leave it alone. Right. Or their aunt, or their, whatever.
To me, it's the same thing. So, this generation, and I'm bashing anybody, but the value of learning what it is for an honest day's work.
No, I totally agree.
The value of
our job is to teach them those lessons.
Right. And sometimes what they don't want to understand, or what they decide later was a problem, is I need you to listen to me when I say something. And sometimes I don't have an opportunity to break it down for you. And sometimes I can't break it down enough for you.
That's true. But as your parent, I have enough experience in this world to know that what you're saying is not going to get you where you think it's going to get you.
What you're doing and what you're trying to say is crazy. You don't know that it's crazy. I'm telling you it's crazy. I'm telling you it's crazy. So let me. We are on a tangent like a mug, but not really. But kind of. So, but my succinct point is this. If the next generation thinks that we are too hard, I don't even care. I don't even care that they think that.
Oh,
because, by the time they are where I am, I'll be dead. Do what you're going to do.
All things to figure out.
Figure that out.
Too hard or too easy on their own kids.
The world is going up in flames right now. And a good reason for that is because this next generation is the old generation won't let go, and the new generation won't grab on. They become.
There's some truth to that, and there are young people doing some things, about the state of the world. If we're talking about that,
they're not doing what the '60s was doing.
I don't. Look at Columbia's campus, and those kids, the students that got arrested, and even the one guy who,
That's fair.
They were protesting. They're out there trying to let their voices be heard. I think
in retrospect, I have to roll back.
Okay, all right.
I mean, I like it. So
yes,
I do like.
I mean, it's necessary, like it or not. It's necessary. It's up to
but
the people.
They're talking about social things and political things and things like that. We're not talking about the raising of your parents, raising of your kids.
Yeah, we're all over to that, which is where we really are.
I think, I'm not a grandparent yet, so I'm not sure if Nathan even wants kids or even will have kids, but maybe he does. And I get to be a grandparent, and I get to watch him figure out how he's going to raise those kids or that kid, or how he's going to do it. But, I don't have a problem with gentle parenting. I just think that people who don't give themselves all of the options that they need for parenting puts you in a place where the kid eventually figures out where the boundaries are and where the inlines are for this, and they live there, testing those things all the time. The very young do not always do as they are told. And it's just, and that goes for me when I was young, and that goes for anybody else when they were young. So
I mean, the challenge of parenting is something that none of us are,
There's no book.
so few of us are prepared. I won't say none. I, at least know one person who seemed to really have thought about how they would parent their kids and were very intentional from super young age. And, I think we did try to be intentional as well. Maybe not from as young of an age, because parenting hits you like a whirlwind, out of nowhere scenarios occur, and you really in the moment sometimes have no idea what to do. That will be to the benefit of the child. And you can act out of just what you feel in the moment.
So I know the woman that you're referring to, and I agree with you in her intentionality and how she's doing it. But the value that she has is her husband is an ass kicker. Because so I've seen situations where I've been there. Yeah. She's gentle parenting, saying, do this, do this. And he comes from wherever he is and lays the law down, and people start moving.
Right.
And, you need both. It's good
and
to have
your
both.
Point, that you need to know what your child will respond to and be prepared to do that. But
at that time,
right,
because it can be what their response is, what they'll respond to at that time.
True.
So
true.
But I know them.
I was just only saying it ain't freaking easy.
Yes. No, it's not. No, it's not. So now that we are 20 minutes into this discussion that we had no intention of actually having.
I mean, it is on. It's on. We were going to talk about, but we certainly didn't. There was no lead up.
We didn't lead up to this at all.
We
didn't
do stuff.
Nothing. You didn't do anything. We just talking. All right. So let's do a couple of things before we move on. We got to do things that the internet has ruined.
And that's me today.
Yep. You got it today.
Because I'm in it. Job hunting. And internet, technology, the economy, everything. The job hunt is just a wasteland of terribleness, in my opinion. Remember when you could open the newspaper, go to the job one, the
classified. Yes, the Help Wanted section. Yes.
You could there would be phone numbers there. You could actually call someone, inquire about the job. You could walk into a place of business,
right,
like a retail store.
It was.
And you could say,
personal.
I'm interested in working here. And they would say,
here's an application.
Right, here's an application, or the manager is here on Tuesdays. Now people are like, go online.
And that's to work at McDonald's.
Yes, just work at 7-Eleven. I mean,
they don't even talk to you.
No, nobody is going to talk to you. Nobody is, I think, everybody has to have this level of skill of using the internet. And
for a job that doesn't even require it.
Right. Even for a job that doesn't require you to use the internet, you have to use the internet. And not only, and that's why I said the economy is in there somehow, because it's hundreds of people applying for one job.
Right.
There are. And you throw in the bots.
Right.
And
AI.
And AI. And people can't, you have to, I don't even know if I could explain this right. If you are not in it, I'm going to try to explain. I'm going to try to start. So I am on unemployment.
Right.
And because I'm on unemployment in the state of Maryland, you have some requirements. You can't just say, I lost my job unfairly, send me a check. They want to know that you are job seeking, that you are upskilling, that you are investigating the job market, all these
Okay.
different things they want you to be doing. And you have to submit, this is what I did this week for, each week. And so part of some of the things that you can do are to go to these workshops to basically learn how to be a job seeker.
Okay.
Like that is a skill, a set of skills in and of itself. Forget everything. If you haven't applied for a job in the last, I don't know, 5 years, I'm going to say, I'm just going to throw that out there, then it's nothing like what you remember. The way your resume is supposed to be set up, you have to consider the fact that your resume may go through what they call an applicant tracking system, which is where AI comes in,
Sure.
where it's going to just, the AI machine or the bot or whatever you want to call it is going to scan over your resume for certain keywords. And so you have to know that, and basically your resume needs to have the keywords from the job description. So it could be the same role, as in, both of these roles are called research associate, but the way Johns Hopkins describes it and the keywords they use in their job description is not the same as Children's Hospital may describe it. So you can't, even though it's the same role, you cannot send the same resume to both Johns Hopkins and Children's. You need to go through and pick out the keywords, insert them somehow into your resume. One of the workshop leaders was saying, if you don't have the skill, like, you're nobody, few people are going to have every single skill and every single experience that is on the resume.
Right.
You're going to have a good amount of them if you think you are good for the job. But if there's something on there that you don't have, you still need to somehow mention it in your resume. So you can say things like, I don't have Salesforce, but I have used da 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 da, and put what you use. But you need the word Salesforce in there
Because they're looking
the
for
ACS is looking for Salesforce,
the
the applicant tracking system, the AI. So that's when you're going to these big companies that they pay money to weed out these hundreds of resumes, and so there's that. And then other things about your resume, like you can assume that if you just list, I managed the store, I counted the money, I made sure it was even at the end. You can't just list your duties. You have to list your accomplishments now. You have to say, I counted the money faster than anybody. Money.
That sounds crazy.
There has to be some type of accomplishment. No.
That can't be true.
I'm telling you, I could show you the example resume. I have a resume coach meeting coming up this Wednesday. I could show you the things she sent me. So you have your professional summary at the top. So I'm a powerhouse in this, that, or the other. My passion is this. Da, 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 da. Then you have your list of skills. So no one's going to read your resume and figure out the skills you have based on the things you did.
Okay.
You just have to list them. And of course, your skills have to match what they're looking for in that particular job description or posting. And then this one has a section for selected accomplishments.
Okay.
And you have to say, they want you to do it numerically, because especially if you're applying to a private industry, because private industry wants to know what problem can you solve for us and how well can you solve that problem. So I was able to shorten the process. If you were going for a HR job, I was able to shorten the process for hiring to be 50% faster or whatever the thing is. So if you don't have numbers, then you have to like schmooze it some kind of way. So
Let's say it sounds like it's making you lie.
it's making you
Embellish. That's the better word I'll say.
I mean, and no, the temptation is certainly there to embellish, but of course, you want to be able to back up what you said on your resume with some actual facts or at least a story that you put together real quick and that, your boss would agree with when they call your references.
I'm going to say this. Do you really? Because the real goal should be, I'm trying to get an interview.
Right. And then when you get in the interview, if they were so impressed with that 50% faster, they're going to want to hear the story. Right. Tell me about how you made this 50% faster, blah, 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 blah.
Which is why I use the word embellish, because how do you know? How do you know what,
Right. And that's the thing.
The quantitative value of what you've done.
Well, the last workshop that I was in, somebody asked that specific question. Like, I don't have numbers. The type of job I had, I don't have numbers. And the response from the workshop giver was, there are numbers in there.
Right. So that's right. So you mean
just gotta think about it in way.
You're not even there anymore. So it would be one thing if you knew this was happening and you were able to say, let me pull together some stuff for this reporting purposes. Most people don't live their jobs thinking that they're going to lose it.
Listen, you need to be doing your job as if you're going to lose it. This coming from a person who thought she had a job that would never go away until, what happened. He came along and big toddler babies on everything that he didn't like. So you need to work your job that way, where you're recording. And I think younger people now who are fresher in the job market, getting out of school, they have learned these things already. And so they are keeping logs at work of, how many people were in meetings that they led, and, how many pages were in the reports that they put together.
So
because and that's what she said. These are the numbers you have to have. Like, you always have to be working like you're going to be looking for a job, which is insane.
It's insane. And you're getting, what it tells me is you're not getting as much work out of people as you could get, because
they're over there recording and making sure they got there. And
it's not recording for them. It's recording for themselves.
Yes. And also performance reviews fall into that too. So if you are a part of the process of writing your own ways your performance will be measured, then you need to be putting in numbers in your performance measures yourself where you can. Like if the timeline is things will be done in 2 weeks, I'm 75% of the time under the timeline.
Right.
Or whatever the text. Because these are all the things that you need to be prepared to write on your resume.
So,
which is
all right. So let me kind of summarize it for you. It's some bull. Job application is becoming just a bunch of words that you just got to put on a piece of paper.
Yes. It's not about. And okay, so the flip side of that, where the internet is not so much involved, but we found a way to get involved, aka LinkedIn, is networking. That's the way 60% of people find jobs, is because, I know somebody, I know you, they tell me they need da-da-da-da-da. I know you have that, and I'm going to connect y'all. Okay. And that's how most jobs you are not. What we did, what I just described, it's not a successful process. Really, it's
Right.
it's successful maybe 25% of the time,
If that,
if
that-
that much.
Right.
Yes, because of all of the different ways that can fail.
right.
You don't get to the ATS. That's because you don't have all the keywords. You don't, the person who is reading the words that the resumes that the ATS gave them has only 3 or 4 seconds per resume. So they're just boom, 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 barely looking over your resume and they miss it. They miss things. So everybody knows that the system is really bad. So they try not to use the system. And apparently, there are these shadow job market, I think is what one of the workshop presenters referred to it as, where jobs are never posted on job boards because the first thing the hiring manager is going to do is talk to their network and go. And that's why, LinkedIn is supposed to be this,
New place for this.
new place of network.
New, but
This place where networking can happen without you having to go to job fairs and how are you going to meet these people who know someone who da 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 da. And it's because you can search up all the people who went to my school who work at this company now. And you can try to reach out to you or somebody who you may or may not know and say, I went to school, could we get together for coffee? Y'all want to hear about what it's like working at your job. And then you guys build up from there or something.
Yeah. It sounds like we're moving back to the old boys network.
Yeah, it's really just really about who you know. It's not because so many education, even though it's super expensive, there's also this leaning on certifications. People don't really care where you went to school and the kind of thing you did, the kind of degree you have. They're looking for, are you a learner? Do you continue to learn? Because technology is changing so fast. If you graduated 5 years ago, the technology you were using 5 years ago is not the technology in the workplace now. So are you are you keeping abreast of all those things? So they are more interested in with the certification, the last certification you did, the last LinkedIn learning you did, the last conference you went to, blah, 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 more than they care about what letters what degree you have.
I mean, they don't want the job to get done.
I don't.
So
I don't understand. It's too insane to even go further on. That's just a little piece of how I think the internet has ruined the job.
What I'll say is the jury might still be out. We don't know yet.
On my job?
No,
or just in
general. If this is just the rough beginning patch of really utilizing the internet this way.
Yeah. I mean, the LinkedIn way has been thought through a lot. And LinkedIn, has changed things to make it easier or harder in some cases to use it as a networking tool and things like that. But because it still has some of those social media rules that I really hate. Like, if you want your stuff to be seen, you need to be engaging with other people's stuff.
Right.
You need, and then more than just a like or a cheer on that, you need to be making comments. And then, people say, you need to be making comments that are at least 15 words long. You can't just be like, congratulations. You got to be like, congratulations. I really love da-da-da, and I think da-da-da. What do you think about the da-da-da? It's supposed to be engagement. And then LinkedIn will say, oh, you're an engager. We're going to push you. We're going to let more recruiters see you, or we're going to let more people see your posts. You got to post. You got to sound like a really smart person.
Interesting.
It's just the layers.
I'm sorry that you are going through this. I hope I never have to go through this.
I hope you never have to. I'm glad you're well connected.
I'm going to keep this job until I retire. I have no reason to go unless they fire me. I have no reason to go. I am not going anywhere.
Because you don't want to be out here. Unless you have some place to go already lined up.
Right.
Stay where you are. Stay where you are, people.
All right.
Come out here.
Well, as you can see, there's piss in the job pool too. There's piss in the job pool too. So
It's not just the dating pool. The internet is ruining everything. It's ruining our lives.
So, all right. Hilarious. All right.
So we did plan to talk about parenting.
Yes. So let's kind of get to our topic,
Yeah.
which is we had a conversation about parenting, and the specific conversation point that we wanted to have is, do you force scenarios to create scenarios to make your children go through things unnecessarily?
Right. Like, for instance, you have money to get them a car, or you have money to get them that next pair of Jordans that they want.
Right.
But you set up a scenario where they got to come up with half, or they got to, mow the lawn.
Right.
They got to earn these things. Or do you just say, I got money for Jordans.
I didn't
love
work.
to see you enjoy it.
You don't want
You don't ever want your child to, quote unquote, go through anything. So that's why we're going to separate from what we were talking about and be clear. No, we're not talking about,
any generation per se.
And we're not talking about, now you make your child earn sheets for their bed.
Right.
Because
we know people.
No.
We know people. We know people. So.
Or you reminded them 24/7, this is my house. And I say do.
So.
But we're talking about just, when, especially for us, because, we're not struggling.
No.
And so, but we understand that soft times make soft people. Yeah. And we're not trying to create soft people. So we have to engineer tough times for them.
Right.
And, how far do you go? What's tough? And every parent is going to think differently about what's tough. Like, I'm not even half. You're going to have to pay your own car. You're going to have to pay your own insurance and your own gas. And
So let me ask you some questions, and then because I am in this house, I am typically the engineer of tough times. Not on purpose, but it's just in this house. I've typically so my position is pretty well known, at least in the house.
Say amongst who?
No, they don't know, but in the house, my position is pretty well known. So okay, so and
I, just for the record, I mean, maybe this is going to come up, but I'll just say this now. I understand that you are the person who makes the tough times. So I'm the person who's coaching the child through the tough times. Okay. I'm not giving them anything per se, except advice and, some understanding, some kind of background to the tough times that they're facing.
Okay. So we can go so let's go back to the very first, in my opinion, the very first example of artificial tough times that I ever created. And that was spending those hours on the stairs teaching Simone on how to back downstairs.
Oh, yeah. That was tough time for you and her. And I mean, more power to you. I never would say you don't need to do all that. I never would have said that, because she needed, better her learn to come down the stairs safely, so that we're not always on guard and she's on the steps. Oh my God.
Right.
And or carrying her down the steps all the time. She gets a little bit of autonomy. She can choose what floor she wants to be on. I saw all the value in it. So I never was going to be like, you doing too much. But you did a lot. That was not a small thing. And I mean, for us and teaching Simone's in particular something, it takes a lot of discipline on behalf of the parent,
right,
to say, Like if when we were potty trained, or the step, we'll stick with the steps thing. Like you had to just sit on the steps, and the steps were not facing a TV. The steps were not comfortable, but you sat there, for the lengthy amounts of time that it took for potty training her. When we decided the consequence of you not using the toilet or potty or whatever was going to be, you gotta go sit on the toilet for the 5 minutes, and we also had to be there to enforce the sitting on the toilet for the 5 minutes.
Right.
And the constantly reminding, poop goes where? It goes in the toilet.
Right.
So yeah, it does take an amount of
And sometimes it
a
came with
high
a pop.
amount of discipline.
Sometimes, just not often. Sometimes it came with a pop.
Like I saw you doing the dance and da 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 da. You just wouldn't stop clicking on that computer and go to the bathroom.
So
Obviously, we were pipe training her at a little later age.
right.
And we
Yeah.
took them on clicking on the computer.
She had.
It took a while. It took a while.
It took a couple years.
Yeah.
To get
To really.
to get her fully potty trained
Yeah.
as she is now,
Yeah.
and it took 18 years to not get her to go to the bathroom overnight.
Yeah.
So only
She was
with
wearing a
COVID.
pull-up, and then that was her. That was all her.
Right.
Like we had just decided, okay, you just gonna wear a pull-up at night.
for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And then one day,
And then once
she would wake up in the morning.
and it would be dry, and it was dry, consistently dry for. I know we let that thing be dry for like 2 months, 3 months before we was like, oh, she might not need this anymore. You can try some underwear, see what happens. We were for a little while, right before we went to sleep, we would go tell her to go pee. We wake her up to go pee,
Right.
At like 11 o'clock at night or whatever it was, to make sure that her bladder was as empty as possible.
As possible.
Yeah.
So yes.
So
All right.
yeah, it does take discipline, and it's not easy to create these tough times.
So let me give you a little bit, and it's not insight that you don't have, but I read a book called I read 2 books, and not that I've only read 2 books in my life.
He only read 2 books in his whole life, y'all. Good job, reading 2 books.
One book was called Stand At the Scratch Line, which by Guy Johnson.
Your absolute favorite.
One of my favorite books. And the other book, I got
Wild at Heart.
Wild at Heart.
Okay.
Yes, Wild at Heart, which are one is a Christian book and one is more of a novel.
Mhm.
But both those books kind of change my parenting specifically for Nathan.
Okay.
Simone has her set of needs and her set of issues.
She had to respond
that
to
is that.
those.
But it didn't.
Question.
She got some of it too, but he got more of it. So
And these are not parenting books, Scott.
they're not
They're
parenting books at all.
It was just something you gleaned from books that you had happened to have
Right.
read.
And I'm going to figure out who Wild at Heart is by, and maybe I'll put the links to them in the chat. I don't think it's up here.
No.
I don't think so.
You might not even have it anymore. I think you loaned it to somebody. But anyway, we can
Yeah,
the internet exists.
the internet exists, so I'll put the link in the chat
Mhm.
or something like that. So it kind of changed my parenting structure of what expectations you want to put on the children. I really, I grew up, I had chores every day, making, I made my parents' bed
I made my parents' bed.
every
It
day.
was my chore.
Either me or my brother, one of us.
I did laundry. The laundry.
I didn't do laundry.
Uh,
The
benefit of doing laundry was that my dad always left money in his pockets.
That is true.
And I claimed that money. Unless it was like a $20 bill, then I wouldn't just claim it.
So the very first thing that I put on Nathan that is an artificial segue or tough time is you gotta make your bed every morning.
Oh, yeah.
And he hates that.
Yeah.
He hates that profusely.
Yeah. I mean, because some people are not bed makers. Like, there are arguments still on the internet now between people who believe in making their bed every day. Like, you got to believe in it. Because making your bed is not
Essential.
right. It's not essential. It takes time and energy and all these things that you may not want to expend in the morning. You may not have time, maybe be rushing, whatever. So you have to believe in making the bed
So
to make the bed, to be an adult who makes their bed every
what I told him was
and he didn't believe because he's not a believer.
he not believing. So what I told him was, you should accomplish something every day, and you can check that box by simply making your bed every morning. You can accomplish something every day, so that people don't. I don't. And sometimes you're waking up to go to school, which is he's doing, or you're not waking up until 11 o'clock, whatever it is. But if you make that bed, then there's no way you can say I didn't do something today. It's not anything great. It's not. It's just just the beginning of
Right.
accomplishment.
It's a momentum builder. Like,
Correct.
oh, yes, I can't, it
Done this.
I've expended this much energy. Look at my bed looking nice.
Right.
What's the next thing that I
What's the next
make
thing on
look
my list?
nice or whatever? Yeah.
So he complained to you about that. Tell me.
Yes.
Let's talk about that.
So, his thing was, it's my room. If I close the door, he doesn't even have to see it. He did not get, you have to accomplish something every day out of that. And I think a lot of the lessons that we try to teach our kids, it's not until later in life that they look back and like, oh, that's what my dad meant. So he wasn't feeling the accomplishment thing. Like, his thing was that, my memory is terrible.
Sorry.
I'm not going to put anything words in his mouth, but the types of things we would talk about is, if you can learn the lesson of you're accomplishing something every day, because there's no pride in it. Like I said, he's not a believer, so there's no pride in it. It's not a momentum builder
Sure.
for him, or it didn't appear to be. He didn't act or speak as if it were. So the other lesson is sometimes there's going to be things that you just have to do
Because
life requires it.
yes.
For either your child requires it, your boss requires it, your car requires that you go put gas in it. There are things you have to do. And this is something that you have to do. And, I would put little notes. The notes
No, still on his wall there. They're still on the wall.
right on the door jamb or on the door itself. Have you made your bed today? Like, before you walk out this, and we're not talking about all these pillows and organizing.
Okay,
We're talking about
a comforter. He don't even have a top sheet.
right, no top sheet, so you don't have to organize. You just gotta spread it,
And put a pillow up there.
put that one pillow up there, and walk out the door.
The whole thing should take you
nothing.
45 seconds.
Thank you. And it's not, he's saying it has to be perfect, and he's going to measure your corners and make sure everything is even and da-da-da-da. He's not going to do any of that. It doesn't have to look anything other than you turned around after you got out of that bed. You turned around and were intentional about smoothing the cover out.
Right.
And so, and I also had to say, sometimes you don't understand why. Sometimes you just have to do it without the buy-in.
Right.
The buy-in is not important. It's just something that you have to do.
When he came home. So fast forward. We'll get to a couple of other things. Just two other things I'm going to talk about with him. But fast forward to when the last time he was home.
Uh-huh.
And he was sleeping in his room at he's in college now, so he's away when he comes home. And he got up a couple of mornings because he had a couple of errands that he had.
Early morning
And
errands.
I walked by that room, and
It was unmade.
it was unmade. The first day I didn't say nothing. The second day I said, I know you've been away at school.
Doing what you
Doing whatever you're doing at school. you're home now. You got to make that bed.
Yeah.
And he was like, okay. And I didn't, he can give me
He
an
would
issue.
give me right. At this point, he's
Right.
beyond giving you issue.
Right.
Yeah.
So
At this point, for a lot of us, I know for me, probably for you, it was like, how can I get back out this house?
he was ready to go.
You're right.
I'll do this and I'm there.
And then I'm out of here.
Right.
You know, and I'm not, how can I not come back? I don't want this scenario anymore. And I don't have a problem with that because our goal as parents is to launch you out into the world. It's not to coddle you so much that you don't want to be out there.
Right.
You know.
So, all right. So we're going to do three scenarios.
Okay.
Three things that I think were, you know, and one of them are progressively tougher. Tough
Okay.
times. So the next one was when it was time for him to drive the bullets in this car.
Getting the car. I figured you were going to talk about getting
that was a big one. So
yeah.
my mom, who lives with us, bought a new car.
Yeah.
The
plan was for her to buy a new car
and give her car to Nathan so that he could drive to school.
Yeah.
And he was, you know, 16, 17.
Right. He was just getting to the point where he's getting his license, blah, blah, blah.
He had gotten it. Yeah. So we had worked that out. We had gotten his driver's license. He was somewhat versed in driving. He wasn't good yet, but
we had practiced with him. And the way Maryland makes you get your driver's license, you have to log however many hours of driving anyway.
Yeah.
So that's kind of built into the system too.
He drove for a year.
Yeah.
Before we got to this point.
Yes.
So when it was time to get the car, my mom was ready to give it to him. She said, I'm just going to give Nathan this car. And I said, you cannot
give it to him.
Do not give it to him. You cannot. And she fussed at me for a long time about it. You know, that's my grandson. I should be able to give him
a car.
I said, sell him the car.
Yeah.
I said, and we're not talking
for $2,000.
We're not talking even book value.
Yeah.
I think
it near.
I think it was $800.
He had to come up with.
He got $800. He has a job. He didn't. Did he have a job at that point? I don't even.
What job? He was working at Pump It Up.
Yeah. Okay, so he had some modest income,
right? And you know, he would get money. You know,
birthday, holiday.
Da.
So, what did you think about that when you heard me when I came to you and say I'm not going to let him just get this car?
So, you know, of course, that's my baby is what came to the surface first.
All right.
Like, you know, I remembered not having access to any car as a teenager to the point where I was like, there's no point in me even learning how to drive because what am I driving? And so I didn't even learn to drive until I was about to graduate from college, y'all. So that part of me was, you know, that rises first. Like, oh, you know, he doesn't cause any, you know, we never had any real trouble out of him. You know, we had the manufactured trouble. That bed was manufactured trouble because he always went to school. He didn't cut school with enough for any teacher to call us and say, we don't know where your son is.
That we're aware.
He was getting top grades.
Right.
He was well liked. You know, the teachers would always have good things to say about him. Any environment he was in, all adults always had something great to say about him. He was working at Pump It Up, our business. We owned the Pump It Up for a while. And, you know, we brought him in at 14. Helping with summer camp while between school years. And he may or may not have liked that. But he did it, and he was reliable. You know, he was serious about it. He took it serious. He didn't try to act like he could get away with stuff because he was the owner's kid. You know, so I felt like my first thought was he already earned. He doesn't ask for a lot. He doesn't ask for expensive clothes. He's had, if the video game systems he's had, it's because we've decided we wanted to buy him a video game system. He doesn't ask for anything. He's already earned that car. It's a 10-year-old car. It's not like he's getting something fresh and new.
Right.
So I feel like a 10-year-old, $150,000 mile car. It may not have even been that mile. Your mother wasn't really driving it that much. But, I just felt like he earned that. So that was my first response. But, I can, like I said, I don't disagree with you in this tough times. That there is value in when you put some skin in the game, when you put some, I have seen other spoiled children who get everything that they want, and then they are not very, very good adults. They're not good at adulting because adulting is not getting everything that you want.
Right.
So I saw the value of him having to, so I had to bite my tongue. It was the devil on one shoulder, the angel on the other shoulder. Like, have your man's back. But he's such a good kid. He should get a car. Da, 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 da. So that was that. But I was in the end, I think what he paid your mother $25 a month or something.
$25 a month.
Until the $800 was paid. And, that was a lesson to learn how to consider that you have to pay $25, either remembering that it's due by a certain date, not spending up your money, budgeting so that you always have the $25, especially when he was in the school year, he wasn't really working.
Right.
So the money, where was the money coming from? Communicating to the lender that, I'm going to have difficulty paying. I'll get it to you. That's not all these.
All those.
Were in there because he had to learn all of that. Because he wouldn't say anything to your mom. He would the fifth would come and the money wasn't in his.
Right. And she would say, Nathan didn't pay me this month. And I'd be like, well, you might want to talk to him about that.
Right.
Because I'm not going to go to him and say,
pay your, because even though you were the catalyst for it, once she was on board and said, you know what, the relationship is between the purchaser and the.
And I said, and if you, as the purchaser, decide that he has missed enough payments or not been,
you can take the car.
You can take
the car back.
And she would text him. I haven't heard from you. She'd try to text him in ways like, not give me the money you owe me, but just kind of, I was thinking I would hear from you by the 5th.
Try to prompt
him to pay. But I think, yes, I think he learned some, some valuable lessons. And he had some ownership in the car.
Right.
So, that lends itself to taking care of it and all of those type of things. We've seen what can happen when people are just given cars. Not to name any names.
All right. So we'll go to the last one, which is the latest one. So this is the latest one. And this is in my mind the toughest challenge thus far.
Okay.
So he's going to be taking some winter classes this fall. After this fall, we've been planning. We sat down this summer,
senior this year,
and we planned out what was necessary to get him through so that he graduates in May.
In the 4-year, as opposed to needing to extend beyond, and he's not stressing.
And he's not stressing himself in the spring
to have 10.
All right.
To have whatever.
If he does these things and knocks these things out, then he'll be good to go. We sat down. And we helped him plan all the way through that. And part of that planning is, since he's on campus during the winter, that he could just take a winter class, and that will help him only have to take 4 classes in the spring,
5,
as opposed to 5.
Because who wants it to be a senior in your last semester?
And you got to take 5 classes that you need.
That you can't pay.
That you need. So my mom said, we paid for his summer class.
Right.
He did because he
He
also
is
took it
taking
in
the
the summer
class
class.
right now, so we
And-
pay for that.
And my mom said she would pay for
For
the winter
class.
class. So we're talking about $2,000.
Right.
Yeah, $2,000 is what we're talking about. So she gave me the money.
And me now.
She gave me the money 2 days ago.
Right.
And say, "This is for-
he hadn't even started.
It was for Nathan in the winter. And my thought to myself was, do I hold on to this money and give it to him in the fall,
Well,
in the wintertime,
Is it-
or do I give it to him right now and say, this is for your winter class? And your grandmother has given you this money for that winter class, and give him the responsibility of having to hold that money for a little over four or 5 months.
Mhm.
And it's more of a test than anything else. We don't know how it's going to turn out. You know, we're hoping for the best.
We're hoping for the best. You know, one of the things I have always tried to drill into him is, you know, that actions have consequences.
Right.
That you need to think through. You can't just be like, what is the benefit to me now?
Right.
Let's think through a little bit forward to be like, oh, but what could it mean for when I want
Right.
So, you know, I think he has definitely had some practice kind of
Right.
thinking through that, and when he didn't think through and face consequences, and so, you know, the understanding is there, the practice is there.
Sure.
This is just the exam.
Right.
He's gone to class, he's read the book, he's heard the professor's lectures. Now it's time to take the exam.
So you like this?
Oh yeah, I'm all about it. I mean, I think we're on the same page in a broader page.
Sure.
You know, we're in the same chapter at least within 5 or 6 pages of each other on this, you know, kind of some of the ways that we raised Nathan. You know, I want to see him win first of all.
Right.
And it's best, this type of challenge is best when the consequences, we have some control over what the consequences are. It's not life is going to come at him.
Right.
This is not going to be the first time that, you know, the $2,000 mortgage is due next month or rent is due, and you got to decide whether you're going to shop or whether you're going to eat out or da 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 da.
Right.
Like, that is much more worse consequence if you make those bad choices that don't have the $2,000 when it's time. You know, we will help him regardless, because this is, you know, what the plan is that he'll take this winter class.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure out,
And
he'll have consequences.
And his consequences may be, we don't pay for this winter class, and he got to take all those 5 classes in the spring.
Well, we'll talk about
We'll
the
talk-
consequences.
Figure out what the consequences are.
We'll figure out
No,
what it is.
But
It depends on how short he is, I guess.
the risk level is
It's
low. Let me rephrase
In
that.
terms of
The
risk is controllable.
Right.
There are natural barriers in place to prevent the worst
from happening. Right.
from happening.
right. The
You
outcome.
know, he's not
the outcomes are
on his own, and if he had to take a summer after this, then that's still doable.
Right. It is not.
I mean, for him to pay for it.
It is not.
What do you mean it's not? He can't take a summer.
How's he going to? Where's he going to live?
He leave one of his friends up there.
That's right.
Right. So you're making a very good point.
All these things I've said to him.
These are all the things that he needs
You're
to be
away.
thinking through.
You cannot afford to go longer than this 4 years because you got to start paying off shizzle.
Ends.
The scholarship ends and your housing ends.
Ends. That would be a good question if he could be a CA as super senior. He might. I can see that.
A super senior over the summer.
I can see that happening.
That is a
We know. I mean, when we were undergrad, people worked on campus past their, as long as they were still a student,
Right.
yeah, they could do campus jobs.
But then the question is the class you need even being offered?
Is it offered? When is it offered? Da 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 da.
It's
Yeah.
just so
This
many
goes
questions.
on and on. How does that affect you wanting to go to your master's program?
So
And there's so many things.
I'm not sure
that-
he's doing a master's program, but
I
that's
think he is.
we'll talk about. That's a different question.
Okay, he said to be
So
strongly leaning in that direction.
when I mentioned this to you, I was sitting right in that chair where you were. You were sitting over there, and the first thing you said was, "You think he can hold on to that $2,000 into them for the year?"
Know what I said? I mean, because that's a legitimate question,
I think I agree,
That's
and I said
and we have to think through
We're-
what we're gonna do.
we're-
You need that.
we're managing. I hope so. I'm doing everything.
But I wasn't.
You hadn't given to it. We wasn't.
You hadn't given it to him yet, and you were, seeing what my opinion was on the matter. But I'm rooting for my guy. I think that he has developed the discipline.
Right at 21.
Yes.
You're going to need that discipline, regardless.
Right. At the very next thing you do after school,
Right.
the very next thing you start doing,
You're going to need
you're
that.
going to need
discipline.
this level of discipline to tell yourself no, and that money is already set aside for XYZ. I might as well act as if it's not even there.
Right. Right. It's accounted for.
Right. It's completely accounted for in the ledger. The ledger we're at zero.
Right.
You gave me $2,200. I need to pay $2,200.
Now, he can game the system. I'm gonna tell you how I think he can game the system. Once his fall tuition is paid, he could just pay the school immediately, and the school will just
And
hold
just
it
have a balance.
They hold it as a credit. If he doesn't request them to pay it out to him,
Give him a
they'll
refund.
just hold it onto and carry it over to the next semester.
I love how they do that.
Oh yeah, they're not interested to give money back. So, but
I don't remember if I had the request.
you have to
refund.
go to the bursar's office and say, I would like my refund.
Okay.
So, all right. We have been talking about all of these, kid management techniques or artificial barriers that we created for our kids. Specifically, we're talking about Nathan. Simone has an entirely different set of needs, so her barriers are different. We do have barriers for her as well that we have put in place, just not those kinds of barriers.
Mhm.
So if you get a chance in the chat, please comment on the ones that we have created. And if you have some things that you kind of may have put in place for your kids to try to help them learn lessons while you can still manage it, let us know. If you think it's a very wide,
If you think a parent is supposed to make life as gentle as possible, and they, and be there for them when they're figuring it out after they leave your house, say that too. We love to hear. We love to see how people fall in that range of, like, for us, it's just important that, that you have practice making decisions, weighing the pros and cons,
right,
facing the cons,
facing the consequences.
when you don't, when you make the decision and that will lead you down to cut those certain consequences. We just believe that it's best to practice in
In an environment where we can still support you.
Feel, right.
It doesn't cost.
It doesn't
Costs
it's
are not so high.
Yes.
Because
You're
if
not-
this happens 10 years from now, and he's not had that practice and not had that experience, it's no telling the situation that he'll be in that we have to manage.
Right.
So,
And it also, I think it sets us up for him to know that we're there and we're reasonable, because we have had the conversations that show that we understand what it's like being your age. We understand that you are learning these things, and we want you to feel like you can come to us. Yes, there still may be consequences. Yes, we may yell at you. Yes, we may express a high level of disappointment. But that doesn't change how our relationship, how we feel about you. We're not going to kick you out the house, but,
right.
come to us and we'll help you, even if you are trying to think it through and you don't know how to think it through. I don't know what scenarios could come up. Okay, well, ask us. We could tell you some scenarios we've been in.
Right. So
yeah.
it's simple stuff like that. Circling back, the book is by Don Elridge.
Elridge.
Wild at Heart by John Elridge. And
if you've known Clarence for a certain number of years, maybe even 1 year, you might have already heard him mention both of these books. That's how I knew exactly what you were talking about, because these are like your top 2 life lesson books.
One book just says is more about letting a man be a man. What are the characteristics of a man, and don't try to tamp those things down. Try to nurture those things so they do them better.
That's they're healthy, right? They're healthy, and it's
Christian based. So that's
something,
yeah,
right? And it's not like boys will be boys.
It's not boys, right? Not boys will be boys. This is show a man, understand the nature of a man, and show him how to do that well, as opposed to trying to prevent him from doing those things because you fear.
As a woman, you feel like, why would anybody want to do that?
Right. Wild at heart. And then the standing at the scratch line, what that basically said is, as a parent, you have to show your kids how much you care about them, especially men, by the amount of confidence you have and giving them opportunities to do things. Let them do it. And, support them and back them in their confidence of how they do those things. And it may not have actually been Standing at the Scratch Line. It may have been the sequel, which is called Echoes of a Distant Summer. Same author, same author, Guy Johnson. It may have been that book that was more in line with those types of teachings. But just it said it's okay to be firm, as well as supportive, as well as letting the fish swim a little bit. Gotta let them swim a little bit, and you can't just hold them out.
You gotta let the bird fly, even though they might.
I'll tell a funny story about because Yolanda and I laugh about this. My buddy Walter, if he sees this, he'll laugh too. We went to Walter's house. He had a pool in his backyard, and Nathan was a kid. He had on one of those floaty vests. Yolanda knows exactly what happened, and he was walking on the ledge in the 3 feet area, but he wasn't even 3 feet tall. He might have been 5 years old, 4 or 5 years old. And he fell off the ledge into the pool, and the flotation device that he had him floating face down, and he wasn't strong enough to right himself. So he just sitting there floating straight down, wiggling his arms, and me and Walter are looking at him.
I'm so glad I wasn't out.
And Walter turns to me and says, I think you're going to have to go get him. And I said, I think you're right. So I jumped in. Meanwhile, he's just floating in the pool. He's
face down in the water.
So, I jump in the pool and I straighten him up.
Is that what? That's not the one where it was Moni, where you took the pool cleaning handle thing and just put it out there. I'm not jumping in the water. Get this handle. Hold on to this handle. I'm going to pull you from the deep end.
She's a lot older, though. She's a lot older and a lot more experience
in the
water.
Yeah.
Nathan was a kid. He was
apparently he needed to know the dangers.
He was
need to really let that sink in.
And both Walter and I said,
you can't just willy nilly.
He might
play on this.
He might have righted himself, and that's what I needed to see. He might have figured out a way to right himself, and that lesson would have taught him more than anything. He was floating down. I gave him 4, 5, 6 seconds. Say, that's what Walter said. I think you're gonna have to go get him. It was no panic. It was no.
It wasn't okay, and it was less than 10 seconds.
It was less than 10 seconds for sure.
Okay,
for sure.
All right.
I think you're.
He didn't get out the water.
He did. Because I'm sure he sucked in some more. He definitely got out the water and started. And then I had,
I'm so glad I wasn't out there.
and I mean, I got in my jeans and my tennis shoes
And got my baby
and got him out the
out
water.
the water. Your experiment, my baby.
So
But
I had to see
this
what he made
reminds
of.
me.
I gotta see what he made of.
This is why you need two people with different perspectives coming together to raise children, because I would have been having a fit that you didn't move immediately to go get my baby. But when we were at the Chesapeake Bay at our friend's beach house, and Moni loves the water. Like at that point, she really she could just sit in the water doing nothing for hours just to feel it slosh around her and enjoy herself. And there were jellyfish in the water that day, and she got stung. And I'm trying to respond to her getting stung in a way that shows I care and I'm so sorry this happened to you. And I felt like everybody else there, it was just like, jellyfish bite. She'll be okay. But so I'm thinking of it from her standpoint. No, there are kids her age that you can just say, yes, there are jellyfish in the water. But she's not comprehending what we mean, the water. And to me, my fear was that it would take away from her love of the water, because it's like, oh, the water is dangerous. You get in the water, you get hurt. Just out of the blue, all of a sudden you hurt. And so that's what I'm thinking, that we need to be trying to break it down to her to help her understand that. And I'm completely alone in that. And she gets back in the water and she gets stung again. And then she wouldn't even go back in the water.
Probably.
And if my memory serves, she was crying too long for some people. It's just a jellyfish thing. And I'm like, she doesn't understand why something she loves would hurt her. She doesn't, so anyway, my point is that, my worst fears did not come to pass based on she still loved water. She still loves water nowhere near as much as she used to love water. She's gonna be in the water for like 15 minutes, but she does talk about it and watch other people play in the water. She really likes the idea of the water. But so my worst fears didn't take place. But I also think, some people could have been a little more.
You talking about me? Specifically me?
Well, yeah, I mean, only because you're her parent.
Okay.
But yeah, I was mad at the whole group.
Yeah, you wasn't just mad at me.
No,
you was mad at
the whole group, right? Because everybody's shrugging this off like y'all don't see how this could affect her. So anyway, so it's like, I'm glad I wasn't there when Nathan was upside down in the water, because then I would have been mad at you all over again. Then I would have been assured that you don't care about our kids. And that you think they're expendable.
I don't think they're expendable. I don't think they're expendable. That's funny. Yeah, is this the fuck them kids on there? No, I would never. I don't mean that. I bleep that out. If that's in there, I'll bleep that out. No. I don't feel that way at all. You weave around them if you got skills. Right. So
nobody knows that joke but us. So that that's it. Housekeeping.
All right. So thank you guys for coming out. Please make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Oh, right here. Bing. It's right there. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. We need your support. We're going to
comment.
Yes, we're going to try to be more consistent. We're working on our consistency. The summer's always tough because I got DJ gigs and so many other things going on. So the summers can be tough for us. But we're going to get back to it. Make sure we get moving on. Sunday nights, we're on twitch.tv/DJ C Sharp. I have such a tough
9
time saying.
p.m. Eastern time to 11 p.m. Eastern time.
Yes, something like that. Sometimes it's a little bit longer. Sometimes it's a little bit shorter.
Rarely is it longer anymore. I'm trying to go to bed.
Yes,
Unlike this clock I'm looking at is 12:56 a.m.
that's crazy. So, and we would have been.
This is part of the reason
We would have been finished, but we had a whole 40 minutes
episode that we didn't record. We said
about something else.
arguing about something completely disgusting.
It was legitimately a discussion.
It was a
legit.
passionate discussion about some other topic that I'm not even sure I want to be.
Because I kept telling her, we're not recording this.
Right.
And
And it was too late to start recording because you can't fake passion. You can't back up and be like, what was that thing I said that I was so passionate about?
Right.
So, yeah. But that's part of the issue for me in this time in my life is I need sleep. And staying up 2 nights in a row, staying up any night in a row. I want to sleep. That's all I want to do these days. I just want to sleep 8 hours. And so if I don't get to sleep till 1 o'clock, then am I supposed to stay in the bed till 9? But anyway.
Tough times.
Yeah, is it really tough times? I don't know. People.
No.
Thank you.
But I understand. I do understand.
I really want us to find a way to record in some other time of the day. We got to figure it out. Maybe we could get Simone's aide to take her out.
Yep.
And we got to be on point to record and not do anything else with that time until we have recorded.
Yep. Okay.
All right. So, yeah, that's our commitment
That's-
to ourselves.
Yeah, we'll see. Oh, my bike journey. I'm over 1,100 miles on my Peloton. Please make sure you continue to follow us on IG and see my health journey. I am down to 226 pounds, somewhere right around there. My weight loss has kind of plateaued, if you want to. I'm not sure.
It does that.
I'm not sure what the opposite plateau means. Is that when you're going up? I'm not sure if you can plateau down, but
Plateau down.
all right. So
The point is that it's not going in any direction. It's
right,
just kind of
I'm kind of here. This is kind of where I am right now. So I have changed to the mushroom coffee, even though I don't drink coffee. But tomorrow I'll go back to it. I had to get away from it for a minute.
If y'all, they don't know anything about the coffee. But to be more specific, Rise Mushroom Coffee. Y'all may have seen the ads on IG or whatever socials. Just a note, it does have coffee in it. It's not just mushroom liquid. It is the first ingredient on the ingredient list is coffee. So if you're trying to drink it because you don't want to drink coffee, you will be drinking coffee. But actually, it tastes good.
If you just work with it,
put a little creamer in there. They actually have a creamer that's like a probiotic creamer that you can buy, but we just use regular creamer.
But it's supposed to help with your digestion, which in theory is supposed to help you break down things either faster or easier, which then can help you with weight loss.
Yeah, it's supposed to have a lot of benefits. They list all the different mushrooms and so people say that the gut is your second brain.
Okay.
And so it also supposed to help your mood. It's supposed to help you sleep.
Right.
It's supposed to help you do all these things.
So
It's supposed to help you poop.
I'll keep you apprised of it. We got a 30-day supply. We're gonna see how that 30 days works.
But you gotta drink it.
Right.
That's the part. You haven't been drinking it every day. And I forget about it too, because I'm so used to drinking my own coffee habit.
So and I don't have a coffee habit. So and this is going to be interesting because I got to go to Boston next week. So we got to figure that out.
I mean, it only takes hot water, so you could just take.
But I got the cream with me.
Oh, you might probably have to buy some creamer when you get to Boston.
Yeah. We'll see. There might be some in the refrigerator at work.
But I want to give a shout out to me for my workout and my health journey,
Okay.
I have gotten to the point where I'm doing Pilates I'm doing something every day of the week.
Okay.
If I don't do something, it's because the schedule does not permit. But the goal and the accomplishment has been just about every day I'm doing some 30 minutes of Pilates or an hour of Zumba or we're walking 4 miles or whatever the thing is. And I finally have, I went to the doctor the other day and she hasn't seen me in a year, my nephrologist. And she was like, "Ooh, you are so fit. You're looking so fit." Like she said it twice, that I was fit. I have not had a doctor ever in my life look at me and say I'm fit. And I felt really good about that because I've been working on it. Just,
She's fit. And I applauded her. When she told me, I was like, oh,
yeah. I'm psyched. Like I'm so hyped. I actually always stood about it on Blue Sky, which I'm the only one that I know on there. There's some really nice people on Blue Sky.
It's the nice topia, if it's a word. It's like the
Kind of
like Pleasantville over there.
It's way better to curate yourself into Pleasantville, or at least Agreeableville.
Yeah, I'm not on Twitter anymore, though.
No,
I love Twitter.
neither am I.
I'm on Threads, which is not Twitter.
Right. Thread, yeah. I got thoughts about Threads, but
Okay.
anyway, that's neither here nor there. We're
Right.
however many minutes we are.
Yes,
So
again.
we can stop.
Please make sure you
Please
comment, like,
Like,
share, and
share,
subscribe. Please, we need your support. All right, you guys have a good night.
to Twitch on Sunday nights. All right. Good night. Good day. Good morning. We don't have a thing we say at the end. Take care of yourselves. There's only one you.
Yes, you gotta.
We're gonna figure out some wise words to leave y'all at the end. Okay, bye.
Bye.
We hope you've enjoyed another exciting episode of Rhythm of Love, the podcast, hosted by Clarence and Yolanda Lewis.
Theme song by Kendra R.
Book graphics by Rayana Denise.
More information is available at cYLentertainment.com.
Please join us on Sunday nights for our live stream on twitch.tv/DJC Sharp.